Ok, hola a todos. Vamos a empezar con día uno in Moodle. So we're going to start here for today. So as I've said, I recommend that you all use this recording before you attempt the activities. So we're just going to jump right in, okay? So here we go. How we're going to be doing this Moodle class, okay? So this Moodle class is going to be very different than what we normally do, but you're going to put this Google Slides in presentation mode when you do it on your own so that you can see the transitions. You don't ever have to open the presentation on its own. You can only use the recording if that's what you prefer. I recommend that every time you listen to this recording first, and then after you can open the actual slide link for more detailed study. And we're going to go through this video, and then at the end you will see several PowerPoint activities. Those are the activities you're going to submit in Moodle, okay? So we're going to study now, sleep later, and today we're going to be talking culture and preterite versus imperfect. These recordings will last no longer than about 15 minutes. I'm just going to run through the information and then allow you all to do those activities and submit them for participation credit. Okay, so today you will all be able to discuss cultural differences between Guatemala and El Salvador and how those two countries compare to the United States. You will also be able to narrate past events, both ongoing and one time, and apply unique uses of imperfect and preterite. So, starting today, we are going to be ending up on one of the last objectives: communicate about past events and activities. Entonces vamos a hacer un calentamiento, ¿ok? Vamos a usar las palabras de pregunta para decir qué es la palabra de pregunta perfecta para estas frases, ¿ok? So pause right now, do this practice activity on your own, and then we're going to run through the answers, ¿ok? So go ahead and pause. Okay, so if you've pressed play again, vamos a continuar con las respuestas. Entonces, ¿qué libro es tu favorito? ¿Cuánto cuesta el hotel? ¿Dónde visitabas cada año? ¿Cuál de estos colores es tu favorito? ¿Y cuántos años tiene su hermano? So remember, with cuál, we never have qual directly in front of a noun. So up here on number 1, it can't be qual, it must be K. And on number 4, it is qual because we are given a selection. Okay, bueno. Entonces, vamos a continuar con la cultura, ¿ok? So, primero vamos a hablar sobre Guatemala. Capital es Ciudad de Guatemala. Hay algunos países en la frontera, or the border, ¿ok? Nosotros tenemos México, Belice, Honduras y El Salvador cerca de Guatemala, ¿ok? La moneda es el quetzal y las lenguas español, y hay más de 23 lenguas indígenas, ¿ok? Aquí es una fotografía de la ciudad, y también aquí es una foto de un volcán en el país de Guatemala. El Salvador es la segunda país, entonces la capital es San Salvador. Hay algunos países en la frontera, Guatemala y Honduras. La moneda es el colón y el dólar americano. Dólar americano también. Y las lenguas español y náhuatl. Entonces aquí es una foto de la ciudad y la moneda. También es un país en la costa, entonces hay playas. Ok, bueno, entonces hay algunas personas notables, lugares mágicos, artes plásticas, y ritmos y música. You all should go ahead and make sure that you are looking at your prep work to get more information on culture, because I don't want to hold you all for too long, so we're going to keep moving on, okay? So, es algo interesante sobre Guatemala y El Salvador. So the majority of migrants, this won't be on your test, this is just that extra cultural information I like bringing into the class. A majority of the migrants crossing into the United States from the south are from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Okay, so a lot of people may go, why those three countries? Well, I found these statistics that I thought would be interesting to you all. That Guatemala and El Salvador are the two places that have the highest percentage of people avoiding leaving the house, avoiding public transportation, and even needing to move to different neighborhoods. So we see that Guatemala and El Salvador are not places that necessarily make their citizens feel safe all the time, which is why we see a high prevalence of them coming into the United States. So as I mentioned, you all had your cultural prep work. That will be included as a submission at the end of this PowerPoint, as well as several other activities for culture, okay? We'll get there in a second, but vamos a hablar sobre estructura 1 y vamos a continuar, okay? So, un repaso de lunes. Hay conjugaciones para imperfecto y pretérito. También hay usos del pretérito y frases del tiempo, y hay usos del imperfecto y frases de tiempo también. Entonces, aquí son las conjugaciones que ustedes saben, y también para el pretérito, si ustedes necesitan tomar algunos minutos para repasarlos. I'm closing my window because there's birds outside. Vamos a tomar algunos minutos aquí. All of this is review. Okay, so vamos a hacer esta actividad. No vamos a hacerlo en parejas. So go ahead and pause, and we will continue with this. Okay, so that should be review from Monday as well. Entonces, aquí son los usos y la importancia del tiempo. Entonces, recuerdan ustedes imperfecto y pretérito. All of this is just recycled slides from Monday. So this you're going to do individually. Go ahead and pause the video. You're going to be translating, or choosing rather, preterite or imperfect according to the context. So go ahead and pause, and we'll return in a second. Okay, so if you press play because you have your answers, vamos a empezar con número 1, okay? Cuando tenía, okay, so it's an ongoing event during the time when you were a child. Viaje a Tikal, so a one-time event. Allí vi las ruinas y en ese momento decidí que quería estudiar las civilizaciones antiguas. Deseaba explorar y estudiar las ciudades antiguas de los mayas, pero también esperaba ayudar a la gente moderna de la civilización maya. Me interesaba enseñar a la gente sobre la historia. So notice when we see imperfect, we're seeing it in situations that don't have a definite beginning and a definite end. Now, when you were 7 years old, cuando tenía, this is a very common structure. But notice that I traveled one time, I saw one time, and I decided in that moment I decided that I wanted. So in this case, now there's no longer a definite beginning and end. And the same goes for the rest. So en mis expediciones, descubrí una ciudad perdida. So I discovered one time. Después de mucho trabajo, mis colegas y yo pudimos encontrar una escultura. Okay, so we were able to find, that was one-time event. Y nosotros supimos, we learned, we knew, que los mayas construyeron la ciudad en el año 800. Okay, so they constructed the city in that year, therefore it was a one-time event. Okay, so if you have any more questions about this activity, feel free to zoom in to my office hours and we can discuss it more. Okay, now that we've gotten through the majority of the lecture, vamos a hablar sobre la tarea para poner en Moodle. Okay, so to submit on Moodle for the culture section, submit your prep work phrases, submit one sentence in Spanish to answer this question. ¿Qué podemos aprender sobre las secciones culturales y los estadísticos sobre violencia en Guatemala y El Salvador? Okay, so you can put this on separate pages, you can type it all out, you can put it on one page, but you're going to submit on Moodle. There's a turn-in link where you're going to put this information in, okay? Then also you're going to submit on Moodle for the preterite and imperfect a paragraph, okay? 5 to 7 sentences, 2 a 4 con pretérito, 2 a 4 con imperfecto. Take your time on this, okay? You're gonna be writing about a memory from your childhood, okay? So you're going to write that paragraph, you're going to take a picture or you're going to type it out and you're going to submit it. Then you're going to record yourself reading your paragraph. Don't freak out about this. This is just to keep you all speaking. You may use voice memos, Zoom record, Audacity, or Vocaroo, and you're just going to get a voice recording and submit that recording on Moodle as well. Okay, so just to go over what the 4 things you're going to be submitting, it's really not a lot of work. Your prep work should be done before you watch this video. The 1 sentence is not very difficult, and then this is going to be the bulk of your work after this video, okay? So there are 4 items, and then you're going to turn that in by 8 p.m. on March 25th. Y'all did it. Good job. We made it through. And the only reminder I have for you guys is just to do your mind tap and jump into this video Moodle class again on Friday, okay? Adios y buen trabajo.